Have you ever paused to consider whether the giants spoken of in the Bible, the mysterious Nephilim, might in fact be the very same celestial beings whom the ancient Mesopotamian civilizations referred to as the Anunnaki? Could it be that across eras and cultures, these beings were given different names, yet shared one essential nature? This possible connection between the Anunnaki and the Nephilim is one of the most captivating mysteries in both ancient and religious history. And in this video, we will journey deep into that narrative, unraveling the threads that bind these figures to the pillars of our shared past. The path we are about to travel may forever reshape how you view history, the spiritual realm, and even the unfolding of the present age. The Anunnaki occupy a foundational place in the mythologies of Mesopotamia. They were described as beings of immense stature and divine origin, the direct descendants of Anu, the sky god, and Ki, the earth goddess. Their very name carries profound weight, those who descended from the heavens to the earth. This etymology encapsulates the Mesopotamian understanding that these beings were not of this world, but came down from a celestial dimension to intervene in the lives of humans. Sumerian, Akkadian, and Babylonian records present the Anunnaki as exalted figures of immeasurable wisdom and authority, guardians of hidden knowledge and enforcers of a cosmic order that directed humanity's destiny. The clay tablets inscribed in cuneiform that survive to this day present a vivid picture of these beings, not as mere witnesses to creation, but as active architects who laid the very foundations of civilization itself. Under their direction, humankind learned the skills that made society possible. Agriculture, which enabled the first cities to flourish; cuneiform writing, a revolutionary tool that preserved knowledge across millennia; mathematics, which revealed the cosmic patterns woven into existence; and laws, which gave humanity structure and order. Yet the Anunnaki were not simply benefactors to be revered. They commanded reverence and, at times, fear. Their powers included the ability to shape the fates of entire nations, to bring forth natural disasters, and to impose severe punishments upon mortals who neglected the universal decrees of the gods. Their pantheon was vast and intricate. Enlil, the lord of the winds and storms, ruled with elemental force, embodying the raw power of heaven and earth. Enkai, the god of wisdom and waters, was often portrayed as a benevolent guide to humanity, unveiling secrets of science, agriculture, and healing. And Inanna, the goddess of beauty, passion, and war, stood as a paradox of love and destruction, her character embodying the ceaseless interplay between creation and ruin, harmony and conflict. Each deity personified a primordial force of the cosmos, and their tales, far from being mere myths, shaped a worldview in which the divine and human were bound inextricably together. These beings, according to Mesopotamian tradition, walked among mortals. They intervened directly in history, altered the destinies of kings, and intertwined themselves with the affairs of humankind. And this concept, the gods actively stepping into earthly reality, was not unique to Mesopotamia. It echoes in Egyptian myth, in Greek epics, and in the sacred traditions of the East. Yet what distinguishes the Anunnaki is the scale of their power and the complexity of their relationship with humanity. Their story has fueled endless speculation. Were they truly divine? Were they symbolic? Or could they have been entities from beyond, beings from another dimension or even another world? This latter possibility, that the Anunnaki were visitors from realms beyond human comprehension, has fired the imagination for centuries, giving rise to theories that extend beyond traditional history. And when we compare the Anunnaki with the Nephilim of biblical tradition, the parallels become even more provocative. Genesis 6:4 tells us briefly of the Nephilim, giants, mighty ones, born of the sons of God and the daughters of men. Though the Bible's account is enigmatic and concise, the shadow it casts is long, sparking centuries of debate. Were these Nephilim merely men of extraordinary stature, or were they hybrids, the offspring of heavenly beings and mortal women? The Book of Enoch, an ancient Jewish text, expands on this mystery. It describes the Nephilim as the offspring of the Watchers, angels who abandoned their heavenly posts and took human wives. Their progeny were beings of colossal strength and violent temperament, spreading destruction and corruption throughout the earth. According to the narrative, it was this corruption, seeded by the Nephilim, that triggered God's judgment through the Great Flood. In this telling, the Nephilim were not simply large men, they were entities that transgressed the boundary between heaven and earth, embodying both divine essence and mortal flesh. When we set the Nephilim side by side with the Anunnaki, the similarities are striking. Both are described as beings descended from the heavens. Both are portrayed as possessing superhuman strength, immense knowledge, and the power to reshape the course of history. Yet the differences are just as compelling, and it is here that the greatest mysteries of human origins lie. Did ancient Mesopotamians revere as gods the same beings the Bible condemned as corrupt hybrids? Are these two traditions describing the same entities through different cultural lenses? Or are they accounts of separate encounters with different supernatural forces? The parallels grow sharper when we examine the role these beings played as bringers of knowledge. Mesopotamian texts claim that the Anunnaki taught humanity agriculture, writing, mathematics, and law, gifts that advanced civilization. Yet, in the Book of Enoch, the fallen angels imparted forbidden knowledge. Metallurgy for weapons, sorcery, and hidden arts that led humanity into corruption. In both accounts, beings of higher origin crossed the veil to reveal secrets to humankind, forever altering history, whether for progress or for ruin. And then there is the matter of their stature. The Nephilim are explicitly called giants, men of renown whose size struck fear into all who beheld them. The Anunnaki, too, are described in terms that suggest immense proportions. Divine in scale, capable of splitting rivers or raising mountains. Both groups are remembered as towering, formidable presences who imposed their will upon the world. Beyond Mesopotamia and Israel, Egypt too preserves echoes of such figures. The colossal statues of pharaohs, carved with proportions far surpassing human scale, suggest a cultural memory of beings larger than life. Myths and inscriptions tell of gods and heroes of overwhelming strength, akin to the Nephilim and the Anunnaki. The pyramids and temples themselves stand as eternal monuments, raising the same question. Could humans alone have built such marvels, or does their grandeur bear witness to beings of superior might and knowledge? Taken together, these traditions, Mesopotamian, biblical, and Egyptian, seem to point toward a collective memory, a memory of encounters with beings beyond the human realm. Each culture preserved its own version of these encounters. Mesopotamia called them Anunnaki, the Bible called them Nephilim, Egypt remembered them in colossal imagery. But the essence remains consistent. Beings who transcended the limits of humanity, shaping civilizations and altering destinies. This leads us to a profound reflection. Were the Anunnaki and the Nephilim in truth the same beings, remembered differently by different peoples? Or were they distinct entities, each civilization touched in unique ways by supernatural powers? What is clear is that the similarities cannot be dismissed. These echoes across cultures may be remnants of a truth deeper than myth, fragments of an ancient reality that shaped the dawn of human history. So the question remains, are we looking at separate legends, or at one story told through many voices? Did the Nephilim of the Bible walk the same earth as the Anunnaki of Sumer? And are the monuments of Egypt yet another testimony to their presence? What survives in our myths, our scriptures, and our ruins may be the scattered traces of beings who once descended from the heavens, forever leaving their mark upon mankind. And now, I want to hear your thoughts. Do you believe the Anunnaki and the Nephilim were one and the same, remembered differently in different lands? Or do you think each civilization had its own encounters with powers beyond the human realm? Share your perspective in the comments below, because your insight is part of this unfolding discussion. And if this exploration has shifted the way you see history and the spiritual dimension, don't forget to like the video, subscribe, and turn on the notification bell so you won't miss what's to come. The next revelations are waiting,